All right, ahoy, mates. Let's get this ship sailing. Louisville, as expected, AC defeated a little overmatched opponent, the FIU Panthers, this past week in Miami is Saturday. Of course, the game and the weather were both ugly.
Yeah.
Louisville was 5 of 17 on third downs. We only rushed for like 12 yards when you take out the sacks. We did have 324 passing yards. Will Gardner got injured his knee. James Quick had a breakout game, which I know you said somebody needed to step up and fill the role since Devontae's not there, and you liked James, and he did. He was 7 catches, 174 yards, 2 TDs, so that's a pretty good game, including that acrobatic 74-yarder we can address in your wide receiver talk. Had 6 guys catching the ball, so they continue to spread the ball around well, which makes it tough on defenses. And speaking of defenses, our defense looked great again.
Big ups to Mr. Grantham.
Absolutely, bud.
He's
nice job.
developing a game plan every week that's right on target. So I really love that.
1 field goal before half is all they scored. We recovered a fumble, picked off 2 passes from Alex Magoo. And I don't know, there's not much else to say. They dominated the game, and we kind of expected that. I mean, obviously, step it up a little bit in Wake Forest coming to town, but I don't.
Offense, again, didn't look all that complete. We just did some things. Will, again, didn't look comfortable in the pocket early. Offensive line woes, but, our running backs, receivers, they really stepped up. I mean, they get the big ups this week. They really stepped up and held us down.
Yeah, they all did a good job. We do have a lot of news in general, a team update, because probably the biggest news was Will Gardner injuring his knee. We didn't know how bad it was at the time. It doesn't appear to be as severe as we thought. I believe I heard he's out a couple of games anyway, so that'll give Reggie first-team reps all week long, about 2 weeks in a row, I guess. So that's good for him, get him a lot of practice. L.J. Scott left with a bum ankle, and I don't know his status. I don't know if you had heard anything.
I believe L.J. is going to actually be available to play.
Okay.
Of course, Will won't. So, you got Michael Dyer, you got Mr. Brown, the man. So, we got a host of Radcliffe. We got some guys behind him that can take up the slack. So, the running back coach has he's got running backs. Yeah, he's got a stable of running backs at his disposal.
And it was good to see Michael Dyer making his appearance for the first time this year against FIU. I thought he looked fine. We just were not blocking very well because the running game was anemic again, and we have got to get that going. Otherwise, we're way too one-dimensional. So let's talk about our Dice Player of the Week, one of my favorite segments. This one, top offensive player, I'm giving mine to Will Gardner. I thought Will played fine. 16 for 28, 295 yards, couple touchdowns, no picks. I mean, I thought Will did a great job. I give him my top Dice Player of the Week.
His numbers ended up well, but running that offense and being a leader, I mean, I don't know what changes we need to make, but he's got to do some things differently to lead that offense better. So, my player of the week, of course, James Quick. 7 catches, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged almost 25 yards a catch. So he's doing some good things. Again, we talked about somebody stepping up, making plays. Normally we have Mr. Brown. He's a man running that ball. And he puts us on his back a lot. But James Quick really stepped up. Again, Eli Rogers had 6 catches. So we're still continuing to spread it. This week, our tight end, Mr. Christian, he only had, I think, 2 receptions. So, we're spreading it around a little bit, but James Quick stepped up like we needed until, we get him, Mr. Parker back, Devontae, Spider-Man, in our offense. Hopefully we can get it clicking.
My defensive Dice Player of the Week, this one's really, really obvious. Gerard Holloman, 2 picks. One was a pick 6. Should have actually had a 3rd pick. He missed that one off his fingertips, but that's all right. We'll take the 2 that he got, and that definitely changed the momentum of the game. So Gerard Holloman, absolutely, brother, you're the Dice Player of the Week for me.
Well, I'm gonna give it. Gerard did a great job. I mean, he anticipated a lot of throws that sometimes you only see that kind of play at the NFL level. I mean, that guy really stepped in in front of some balls and he does. It looks to me like he does a lot of film work, you know. And again, freshman Tremaine Washington had 5 tackles. He stepped up. I mean, it's almost like we're finding a different defensive player every week. You know, we've got Sample, you know, showed up. Of course, we've got our safeties. Our safety play is just great, but Tremaine did a great job.
Gaines and Terrell Floyd and those guys. And the thing about it is they don't throw their way. That's why you really don't hear about those folks is they don't throw at those guys. They know that they're probably going to get it picked or they're not going to make the completion. So they just avoid those guys, and that gives guys like Tremaine Washington, a freshman cornerback, a chance to show up and shine, and they do. So they deliver on that side of the ball for sure.
And, of course, they got to share honors with Mr. Grantham. You know, his defense, he stepped up every week. He set a great defensive plan. I mean, that guy is well worth whatever they're paying him over there, you know, through 4 games, you know. So, you know, we got faith that our defense is going to show up. And the last time Bobby was here, we had faith that our offense would at least it was basically first one to 49. And, you know, now we're limping at 34. So,
yeah,
you know,
it's been enough points every week except for one so far. So we need to get that going a little bit better.
Yep.
All right, so AC's favorite segment. This is the wide receiver talk, and AC, take it from here, my friend.
Well, we got a wealth of talent at wide receiver, and we've got guys. We caught a total of 20 balls as a wide receiver group. That should be up around 30, 35 balls, you know, a game, spread out over all our receivers. You know, again, we got guys stepping up. We had, of course, James Quick, again, you know, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, 174 yards. In over 2 games, James has had 12 catches, 8 yards, and 3 TDs. So, you know, we got some guys stepping up. We got to get the ball to some of the playmakers, Michael Lee Harris, Eli Rogers. I mean, we've got speed out there. And just to get those guys, some of the passes that we caught, James Quick, open passes, those are the plays that we're used to. Bobby creating it's just being creative play calling. You know, of course, maybe we just didn't have that much time, but he's getting receivers open. You know, I don't know how much of his offense he's able to put in, you know, with the guys he got. Again, you hit on it earlier, all new coaching staff. So, you know, everybody's continuing to gel. And, you know, as fans and what we're used to seeing Bobby throw that ball and receivers scoring left and right, setting records every Saturday, you know, we might have to wait for that. But as a group at the wide receiver spot, I think we get A+ this week.
Good. I like that grade. And it is true. We've had wholesale coaching changes all the way across the board, so everybody's kind of new. They're adjusting to new coaching styles and new plays. And, you know, and I know we had 20 catches or something like that from the receivers, but, you know, it's a good game when you have 60 plays. So you're right. There's room for 10 more catches. Louisville should be running, I think, 60 plays a game. And we're not right now. We're getting some 3 and outs that we shouldn't have. So they're getting better. They're getting better. That leads us into our crapped out team of the week, which actually is teams that are going the other way. One of my favorite segments, AC, the crapped out team of the week. This one for me goes to the LSU Bayou Bengal Tigers. A night game at Baton Rouge in Death Valley. That's a place where teams' dreams of a championship come to die. Here comes Mississippi State, Dan Mullins. They roll them out of there. Blew them out. Now, LSU made a valiant comeback. They only lost by 5. The score was not, it wasn't that close.
No,
it wasn't that close. So don't let the score fool you. But LSU, to me, is a team that crapped out this week, AC.
I'm going to go with Missouri. Missouri, you know, you get a IU team that's at –
the Mighty Hoosiers.
I have to apologize. I took the Mighty out of Hoosiers last week.
You did.
I'm going to put it back. Mighty Hoosiers came to play.
They did.
Missouri, they took on Mr. Mock and company down there, and they went to them and took it to them. So big ups to you, IU.
Yeah, and you know what? I think IU led almost the entire game. Maybe they were behind 17-14, but that was it. Yeah. Otherwise, they led the entire game in Columbia, Missouri. So great job by the Mighty Hoosiers. All right, we'll move on. Our Paradise Picks of the Week, which is where AC and I picked 2 games against the spread. I did want to kind of give everybody an update because I went back over the old episodes. Actually, believe it or not, I'm 7-1 against the spread in these picks. AC's 5-3. So still a good record for both of us. And we got a couple games this week, including tonight's matchup, which we'll be viewing. UCLA travels to Sun Devil Stadium to play Arizona State. So the Sun Devils. Let's see. UCLA's favored by 3.5 points. Brett Hundley, they're not sure if he's going to play or not. I'm not sure he's going to play. And I know Taylor Kelly, Arizona State's quarterback, is a very dynamic quarterback, is not playing. He's out. UCLA's favored by 3.5. UCLA's ranked 11th. Arizona State's ranked 15th. I'm going to go with Arizona State. I'm going to go with the underdog at home. Give them 3.5.
I'm going to stay with UCLA.
Okay.
They're not traveling across the country this week to play.
No, they're not. Short
trip.
jaunt. Yep, short airplane ride.
A lot of those guys have the girlfriends and family in the stands, but I think UCLA will show why they're ranked that high.
If Brett Hundley plays for UCLA, it might be tough because I believe Arizona State's quarterback is starting his first game. My kid might be a junior, but he's starting his first game, so it could be a tough game for him to start out on. Next game, Florida State, NC State at Carter Finley Stadium. NC State always plays Florida State tough. They beat them a couple years ago. I'm going to go with NC State. They're given 19 points. Florida State hasn't shown me they're going to blow anybody out really this year, so I'm going to go with NC State and giving up 19 points at home. I like the points.
Honestly, JP, this might be a trap game for Florida State. I'm going to pick Florida State, but I'm going to say this. I think with James coming back, Winston coming back this week, he's going to try to do too much, and it could be detrimental if he just goes over top with it. So, but I'm going to pick Florida State, but it's going to be pretty close.
I think it is too. All right, we got a couple more games here that AC and I are going to pick. The first game, New Mexico State versus LSU. I feel sorry for New Mexico State. LSU is going to be ticked off about losing that game last week. LSU is going to win by 60.
Well, I'm gonna agree with you. There's nothing else I can say. New Mexico State, you're in trouble.
Yeah, big trouble. That one was easy. TCU Horned Frogs versus SMU. Again, SMU, we talked about them last week. They played Texas A&M and got obliterated. SMU has an interim coach. TCU Horned Frogs, that's an easy one.
Yeah, Horned Frogs, they're always tough. They're hard-nosed. They do not play.
Horned Frogs.
And it's a Texas game. It's a pride thing. Guys played each other in high school. So TCU, they're going to blow them out.
And then this will be a good game. Arkansas and Texas A&M. Brett Bielema getting his guys going, getting that running game going. He's got like 400-pounders all the way across the line. They run the ball, smash mouth football.
JP,
but I still like Texas A&M. It's close, though. I think it's a close game.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me. Texas A&M is going to – I mean, it's going to be bad.
You think?
Texas A&M
I think Texas A&M is favored by 10 or something in that game.
I put it at 25.
Oh, okay. All right, he says that one's easy. I don't know about that one. All right, let's talk about this week's game. Wake Forest Demon Deacons come to town. They're an academic school, AC. It's an academic school from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
They got a football team.
They do have a football team. It's also a hotbed of tobacco companies out there, which is a good thing because I think we're going to smoke them this week. They're 2-2 this year. This is their first ACC game of the year against us. I don't like their chances here. They got a young quarterback as a freshman, John Wolford. He's good. He seems to be poised. He looks pretty solid. He does throw some interceptions, which means that Holloman and those guys should be licking their chops this week because I think they got a good chance to pick some balls off. They are a little bit one-dimensional. They seem to pass a lot more than they run. So we'll see how that goes. We did beat them in the Orange Bowl a couple of years ago. That was actually Bobby's last game here, so that was good memories. But I like Louisville in that game.
Score.
I'm going to pick Louisville 35-10. I'm not sure we still get our offense going that well, but 35-10. I'm not sure they'll score 10 points, but.
Well, JP, I'm going to tell you, the Demon Deacons next year, they have the third-ranked recruiting class coming in to Wake Forest next year. So.
Okay.
But that's next year.
Yeah,
that's next
right.
year.
That is not this year.
So this year they're going to get beat. I want to say 45-13.
Okay.
Louisville beats them.
So we're both expecting Louisville to get offensively back into some sort of rhythm. So we'll see how that goes.
I really hope we get in some type of rhythm. Something, I mean, we go to games and we're elated to see that offense roll. So
yeah,
hopefully Bobby can get them rolling.
Everybody likes to see that scoreboard light up. Just one question this week. Kenneth Tidwell asked more of a comment. Do we still have time to sit back and wait for Will Gardner to show out of his bad habit of not being able to throw over the defensive ends or to roll out and throw? It's a lost art of freezing someone in your throwing lane. I believe we need to move forward with Bonifant or Bolin. Mr. Tidwell, I appreciate the question. Obviously, I say we need to move forward as well, but only because Will Gardner's injured this week, and we will move forward, so we'll see what Reggie does.
Well, I don't believe in throwing lanes. Will Gardner's, 6'4", 6'5". We've had Jeff Brom, who's at 5'11". We had some other guys that are just not as tall as him who threw the ball extremely well. So I don't buy a throwing lane or things like that. But I do think nature takes care of itself, and Reggie gets his shot. Teddy got his shot and never relinquished that position. So this could be another one of those issues. But, I think things take care of themselves, and Reggie does great.
Well, I like the Cards this week. AC likes the Cards this week. We like the Cards every week. But anyway, I guess that's a wrap for this week's show. I'm JP.
And I'm AC.
This is Cardinal Pairadice, and that's how we roll.